A pretty common question that I get asked is how I got involved in pageants, or what was my first pageant, how old I was when I first entered pageantry. But overall, the main question is, how did I get involved in the pageant world? It's probably not what you're really expecting. I feel like a lot of people are always surprised when I tell this story, when I share how I got involved in the pageant world. And it's just something completely different, I think, than normal, if there is a normal. So it would have been in 2009. I was 16 years old and we actually lost our home to a house fire, and the Red Cross helped us out quite a bit. So they helped us with our transition because obviously we lost, you know, basically everything, our furniture, our belongings. My mom and I were home when the fire happened. It was like after midnight on a super cold February night in Saskatchewan, Canada. So it was like minus 30 something. I ended up getting like frostbite and stuff when waiting for the fire trucks. But anyways, we lost our home to a fire and then the Red Cross helped us out. I wanted to get involved with the Red Cross and start working with families like in any way that I could and like give back, I guess, to those who had helped us so much. So I started working in disaster preparedness, disaster relief. I started giving like talks, speeches with schools about the importance of disaster preparedness and knowing what to do when disaster struck, because fortunately when the fire started, the first thing that I did was call 911. I came downstairs because I heard the smoke detector and I saw my mom trying to put out this fire. I called 911 right away, got us out of the house. So fortunately, like, my instincts kicked in. So I started working with the Red Cross, talking to young people, families like ours, wanting to make a difference in any way. I was scrolling Facebook one day, we still hadn't moved into like a new place or anything, and I saw this ad and it was for Miss Teen Saskatchewan, and it said something like, make a difference in your community today, become a leader. I had never really thought about pageants before. I didn't really know about pageants. I didn't know what they entailed. I didn't know what was involved at all. And I saw that this pageant was happening in literally, I think it was like 8 days or something. It was like 10, I don't know, 8, 10 days, 2 weeks. I can't remember. It was a very, very short period of time. I think it was like a week because I remember having like a week to get everything together. I picked up a $150 dress from a shop in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. I went off to Saskatoon. I paid my entry fee with my my tax, what do you call it? My income tax. Like, I got income tax back that year because I was, you know, 16 years old and I was working a job, a part-time job, and so I got like $700 in income tax back. I paid the like $650 entry fee for Miss Teen Saskatchewan, and I had no idea what I was doing, so all I could really do was be myself. I shared my story. I shared that we had just lost our home to a house fire and that I was working with the Red Cross. I heard about this Miss Teen Saskatchewan, thought that maybe this would help me make a difference on a greater scale, maybe it would open some new opportunities for like volunteer work and that kind of thing. And I ended up winning Miss Teen Saskatchewan, went on to win Miss Teen Canada World, was second runner-up at Miss Teen World held that year in Houston, Texas, and I think actually South Africa won that year, I think. And that's kind of the story. So I entered my first pageant at 16 years old, about 2-3 weeks after losing our home to the house fire, and it completely changed my life. I went on to have like 10 years in the pageant world, and obviously I got to represent Canada eventually at Miss Universe, like the ultimate pageant. But I did not I did not grow up learning about pageants, wanting to be a pageant contestant. I knew about Miss Universe because I knew that Natalie Globova had won Miss Universe for Canada in 2005. I was in like grade 4 at the time, I think, and I remember our teacher talking about it. But other than that, I was not like, it wasn't my dream to be Miss Universe one day. It just wasn't really part of our culture. It wasn't something that we watched on TV every year. But of course, once I got involved in the pageant world and I saw and experienced the opportunities that it gives for young women, it blew me away. And honestly, because of my experiences being Miss Teen Saskatchewan, being Miss Teen Canada, at 16 years old, I got to speak at We Day, which is like this huge youth conference in front of 16,000 people in Vancouver and in Toronto, which is crazy. Being a 16-year-old and speaking to that many people, having the opportunities that I did, I learned so much about networking, communicating, public speaking, time management. I learned so much about time management because I was in high school when I was Miss Teen, so I had to like balance everything and try to make things work. It taught me so much about life. It taught me so much, and I'm so grateful that I saw that Facebook ad way back in 2009 and I took the chance dance, and I did something that I never thought I would do, and it led me to kind of like a lifelong career in the pageant world. And obviously it ultimately led me to creating this YouTube channel and sharing all these stories with you, because without having had that experience, without seeing that ad, without having all of that happen, I would not have some of these amazing experiences I've been so fortunate to have. So it started with a bit of a disaster, but it led to so many amazing, wonderful things that I am so grateful for. So even though I had no idea what I was doing, I had no idea what I was getting myself into, I just went for it. I was myself. I did what I could, I enjoyed the experience, and it ended up working out super well.